passe l'artiste. Super, encore un but sensationnel. That's a brilliant bit of follow-up play by Mahe. Oh my goodness me, what a shot.
Sagosen setter det hen! Han setter den! De i semifinale igjen!
The Olympic cauldron has not been lit yet, but women's handball has already caught on fire at the Olympics with huge results at the very top and non-European nations making a splash. Chris O'Reilly was there in the arena to watch. How many games did you watch? All 6 games?
I wish I could say I was there on site, Alex, to watch all 6 games, but I was busy traversing the city looking for interviews in the morning and early afternoon. So I caught enough of them, I'll say, and the rest I watched back today or on highlights, so I'm well up to speed. But what a first day of the Olympics. And I just, before we go into the action, have to say, how amazing is it that at 9 o'clock in the morning, when Denmark and Slovenia are playing, that there's a full house in the south of Paris arena, full crowds all day, great atmosphere, and, you know, I'm a believer now in having some events before the start of the Olympics. In fact, why not just make the whole thing longer? This is the Olympics. We can have it 3 weeks. Fuck it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to see, a full day of a... How big is the arena?
I was contemplating this yesterday. I'm not 100% sure. I would say maybe 5,000 or 6,000 people.
Okay, that's relatively small, actually.
Yeah, I think they've made a good decision there to set it so that, you know, they can fill it and also make the tickets kind of a little bit rare. And then they're going to go in the complete opposite direction for the knockout rounds with a 28,000 seater.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's not massive by any means, but it means that, you know, they can fill it pretty easily and well, they seem to fill it pretty easily.
Yeah, I do actually have a friend who was selling tickets. He couldn't go to the Olympics because he had a baby that was born very inconveniently last month. So he had to give up his tickets to the Olympics, and he did have, I think, tickets to rowing, basketball, and handball, the quarterfinals in Lille. And he's been kind of struggling to sell all the tickets except for that quarterfinal ticket for the handball that went immediately. And this is an American guy, so he's gutted he can't be there, but it shows the popularity of handball at these Olympics. And yeah, while it's a small enough arena, it was pretty cool to see. And I think there's always a kind of interesting atmosphere for these type of team sports at the Olympics, where, you know, I listened to Anna Gross give an interview of just saying it was a fun atmosphere, thinking of, you know, the European Championship that we were at in Slovenia, where the Slovenian fans really packed out the crowd at the arena for those home games. They were raucous, they were loud, and then just kind of left after Slovenia played. So there's like love for the country is, you know, really big in handball. Like, people really support their nation in the sports, but the general just enthusiasm of the sport is probably quite a strange atmosphere to feel, especially for the likes of Balkan countries. That's definitely a big difference.
And that, I mean, we can speak more about the French in a bit, but really soaked it up as well. They really enjoyed it, and it is that special thing about crowds in the Olympics, is that they're not strictly, or by no means, handball fans strictly, but they are sport fans, and they are, in this case, France fans, and they're going nuts for everything. Things that we were just kind of like, oh yeah, that was good. They're going absolutely crazy, and that is also fun to like be around. I was sitting in the edge of the media tribune with quick access to the mix zone, but literally, it meant like normal seats were right beside me, and yeah, it was fun to get to feel the pure, like, unadulterated joy coming from fans, and really love that they stuck around also for the final game after the France game.
That's definitely the spirit of the Olympics, and I actually think back to those Olympics that I went to, the London ones, where I saw my first, high-level handball match, and like our group was our handball team back from Ireland. We all got a bus over. It was a 24-hour journey, really hardcore to get to see these Olympics in London. We drove from Ireland, got the ferry, and then drove from Liverpool to London. Arriving in the morning, completely wrecked, but got to our seats, and as I mentioned, there was South Korea were playing, and we managed to sit beside the 6 South Korean handball fans that were in London for that game, and they all had these like clappers, and they built such an atmosphere in that whole section of the stadium, because all it takes is like some passionate fans, in the same way they're describing, like, okay, everyone's cheering for France, or cheer for France. In this case, it was South Korea, or as I learned, Daehamingguk is the South Korean for South Korea. So that's what we were chanting. It took us a while to understand what we were actually chanting. We were just going along with it. But
that's a great segue, Alex, for the Korean team and the best victory of the day, you have to say, for their win over Germany. And I have to say, I'm really happy to have been so wrong about this team. I did say in the preview podcast that I wasn't sure of their...
You dismissed them immediately.
Yeah. I clarified it. I said I wasn't sure if this, like, the way they approach the Olympics works anymore, because it's based on, like, a time where you could probably train your way up and then be able to compete with the best, rather than, exposure to the top level all the time. And they do have Ryu Yeon-hee, who is the exception in this team, who has been playing in Europe for a number of years and just won the Champions League a couple of months ago. But they got themselves ready for these Olympics, that's for sure. Henrik Signell, the Swedish coach in charge of them, I don't think he quite believed it or expected it. He had no specific explanation for what was different, but something has clicked for this team. And what a great win for them. 4 goals down with 15 minutes left to play against Germany. And they just ground it out. And in the end, they were up by 2 in the final minute. And there was no real stress. They just completely outmatched Germany in that final quarter, and without doing anything particularly special. I mean, the keeper made a couple of saves, only 6 in total. A couple of them were big towards the end. Germany just really underwhelming. Hugely
underwhelming, especially a German team that, have been so good and have been improving, and really kind of, we felt that they were really rising to a higher level in the like women's handball world, where they're very much a core part of that, like, chasing pack towards Norway and France, and they just they came out and weren't good at all. I wonder if it is these kind of results that we saw on the first day are all just a microcosm of the overwhelming emotions and activities going on with going to Olympics. This, despite all of these players being professionals, this is, for the German team, it is the first time that they're doing something like this, and going to the Olympics. And South Korea, literally, they lost all of their warm-up games, all of them, easily. And they just, they've just done it. It was exciting, it was fun, and to be honest, they weren't like incredibly good, South Korea. They still made a lot of technical errors. Xenia Smits had one of the greatest stat lines I've ever seen. She had 5 steals, 6 assists, and 3 goals. 0 goals and 4 assists and 4 steals at halftime. So it was a scrappy game, but I suppose that just help South Korea. They really they just came back. They did it. It was incredible.
I'm delighted for them, and really throws that group even more wide open than it was already. Well, that did, plus another result from that group with Sweden beating Norway. This was at times also an incredibly scrappy game, but a very, very good game. And I think we have to start with Johanna Bunsen, who has, I don't know, I've seen her play some big games in the past, but that was probably the best I've ever seen her play. She had a miraculous game.
18 saves. What can you say, really, to that?
But it wasn't just the number of them, but like the style of the saves at times, particularly in the second half, was astonishing with the breakthroughs. But yeah, 18 saves. Despite that, though, Sweden were not making life easy for themselves, and they had a chance to go up by 4 in the first half. Didn't manage to do that. Ended up, despite being the better team and despite Bunsen playing the way she did, ended up trailing at halftime. Started the second half slow. Didn't score for about 7 or 8 minutes at some point, but Norway just never put them away. And then, as long as you have a keeper like that who can keep making those saves, and when things start to finally click in attack, with Nina Koppang, for example, coming in, getting her first start in a big game. It was only a few months ago at the World Championship where she was like being held on the bench and only getting on for a few minutes here and there. She has been given a big chance and exploded.
Yeah, Koppang was incredible. She had a shot at the very end when Sweden were like just pulled ahead, and it was this incredible jump shot from 10 meters. She got incredible height and just smashed it into the top corner, and I was just like, wow, where has this player been? And again, she's only 22, but we've talked about her for a while and she's really blossoming. But, the big story that we didn't mention in the preview podcast, we just didn't talk about, is, of course, that Henny Reistad got injured in one of the pre-tournament friendlies. She had her foot in a boot in a... So it was in the first game against Denmark in the previews that she got injured, and during the second game she was seen with a foot in a boot on the bench. So she obviously didn't start for Norway, and no Henny, no party. That seems to be the case for Norway.
She's expected to come back, I think, pretty soon. I think it was kind of a race for fitness for this first game, so we will see her, but there's no guarantee when you have no preparation time that you're going to be able to fire on all cylinders at a tournament like this. It's a long tournament, but it's not that long, particularly if you're not at full fitness. And so you had no guarantee that she'll be able to deliver the way we're used to seeing her deliver. And besides that, this team was exposed a little bit. The things we've talked about Norway for a number of years with their at times reckless attacking, the way they turn the ball over, it's kind of goes hand in hand with their ability to run teams over, but the transition both ways really hurt them at times. And yeah, not to say they looked ordinary, but they definitely don't look like the same team without Henny Restad.
They're coming up against Denmark in the next game, a Danish team that hasn't beaten Norway, but has gotten close a lot. And you could easily see Norway losing that game. And we talk about this for Norway quite a lot, how they kind of ramp up in a tournament. Usually, whether it's a European or World Championship, they kind of build ahead of steam. And in this case, they're just not allowed to do that. They're playing two of the top competitors against them immediately in Sweden and then Denmark, and could be in slight danger. I still think it's not danger to be knocked out. They should easily do it, but where they'll land in the group is quite uncertain now. Assuming France go and win their group. Basically, if Norway don't win their group, then they're on a collision course with France. That's either quarterfinals or semifinals, which is not where they want to be meeting each other.
Or maybe it is. Maybe that's part of the grand plan. Who knows? It's too early. The Olympics hasn't even started yet to look that far ahead to make those weird calculations. But just one more bit on Sweden. Carin Strömberg, who has really made another kind of resurgence in her career. She was massive in the Olympics 3 years ago in Tokyo, had kind of fallen down the pecking order a fair bit in recent years, and maybe a little bit of a surprise that she was in the 14-player squad this time around. But then a thought occurred to me as we were watching the game in the first half, and there was a discussion with Ola Selby from Handbollskanalen about the lack of depth at line player now that Lagerqvist is out. And Strömberg came on. I said, she's got the makings of a line player. She could go in there if needs be. And sure enough, second choice line player gets injured. First choice line player Lindblom gets a red card. Who goes into the line? It was indeed Carin Strömberg. And seemingly that is the reason why she is in the squad as this utility player to go in everywhere. We had a chance to speak to her right after the game to hear about that and Sweden's tactical nuances in 7v6, which we'll talk about after we hear from Carin. Carin Strömberg, first of all, congratulations. What a win.
Thank you.
A few years ago in Tokyo, you really one of the stars as a centre-back for Sweden. Now, as a line player.
Yeah, yes. We had injuries and a red card, and then it was me, the next one, to go on the line. And it worked today. I think we did a very good game with the 7 against 6. Maybe not so much because of me, but someone had to take the place, and I was ready for it.
Absolutely. I was saying to my colleague, kind of half jokingly in the first half, I was like, Carin, actually, if there is some problems here, could fit in quite well. How long has this been part of the plan?
No, I knew it when we took out the players for the tournament, that if something happened, I could be a possibility to play on the pivot. Of course, we didn't want an injury and the red card on the same time, but yeah, I was prepared. And also as a playmaker, you have a little bit the play, you know it, so then it's easier to be in the right positions.
Generally speaking, the game, it was... You left it a while to really take control there, but coming away with the win, how massive is that?
Oh, so good. I'm so proud of the girls. I think we really made a good fight. Second half we came in a little bit bad in the start, and then when we played our 7 against 6 with the big saves from Burre, our goalkeeper, it made such a difference. And I feel also we are really like a collective team. We go together, and I think that's made it work for us in the end.
You mentioned the 7 on 6 there, also with a bit of a variation with the 4 backcourt players. Tell us a little bit about the preparation for that and what the thinking behind.
Yeah, we've been working a lot about that this summer. And I feel we have some back players that are really good shooters, a lot of them, others that are a little bit faster playing with the pivot. And I think it really puts everyone in the spotlight in the right time. So I think today it worked so good.
And having a different view from the line there, how do you feel the Norwegians dealt with it? Did it come as a little bit of a surprise to them?
Yeah, maybe. We didn't show it in the preparation game, so maybe it was a surprise. It's a good team, and I just think maybe we took them a little bit by surprise, and also we had a lot of variations. So I think that also helped that we came in different zones always.
And this Norwegian team, one of the favourites to win the title, but taking them on the first day here. Did you see this as a real chance to shock them right at the beginning of the championship?
Norway is a really good team, so of course we knew it was a hard game if we were supposed to win it, but I think we gave everything just to take the little chance, because to be honest, of course they are the favorites with France maybe of the tournament. But I feel that we are a team that we give always everything, and in the end, if it all works together at the same time, I think we can beat every team.
And what is basically now the 13th month of the season, how good is it to finally get the campaign underway? Never mind how great this first game was for you.
Oh, so good. It's such a good atmosphere, and as an athlete you wait for this for years, even if it's a long summer where you just continue the year. But so good to be here. Perfect first day. I think we will celebrate later tonight, but then it's just on to the next game.
That's it. Congratulations.
Thank you.